Good morning, everyone. I'm Andrew. Thank you for joining us for the DvSum webinar this morning. Our featured speaker is Steve Roberts, DvSum's Senior Healthcare Industry Advisor. Steve will share a little bit more about his background in just a moment. The topic he's going to cover is how payers can use AI-powered chat to decrease costs and accelerate time to market. So thank you again for everyone for joining. Please stay on through the end of the webinar. We're going to take the Q&A that is going to come streaming in, so feel free to chat your questions even during the presentation, and then Steve and I will field those at the end. With that, I'll turn it over to Steve. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks so much, Andrew, and thanks everyone for being here today. As Andrew has said, I'm Steve Roberts. I do, provide advisement for the healthcare industry to DvSum. My prior role was CIO at Elevance Health. Most specifically at Carelon, that serves United Healthcare, Humana, and now the 35 sister Blue Cross Blue Shield companies. And prior to that, in Aetna CVS Healthcare for their multi-payer division. And I have about 30 plus years in healthcare, and so hopefully you'll gain some key insights here today. While the title is focused on payers and chat, we're really focused on the general use case of open enrollment, which is most applicable right now as we go into the October 2023 open enrollment season. So you're probably first thinking, if you're new to DvSum, what is DvSum? It basically enables key insights around your data, and it's in real time. This is not a new company. We're based in Silicon Valley. As you can see here, we have big name brands that are currently using the solution today, in addition to Coca-Cola and the Cheesecake Factory. Right now, we're in production trials with Blue Cross Blue Shield, as well as LexisNexis. So entering into the healthcare realm, and you'll see why that's applicable here. But really gaining insights in terms of how data is used within the healthcare industry in real time, actionable data. So as you're probably leveraging systems today, you're probably drowning in data, and there are statistics that basically reinforce that message. And so what DvSum does, or at least in the standard process, right, you're typically using standard reports that are provided to you by your IT department. And so those are click down reports that are standards that you can pull out those data requests and to better understand what's happening, so you can take appropriate action within your corresponding industry. What's different about DvSum and Caddy is you basically are using a drop down within your intranet. So you're going to go to typically your intranet within your system within a standard browser, and you're going to type when you do a search. You're going to type in a natural language. You don't have to, know queries of Tableau or SQL or any key data around that. And so with those, natural questions that you would ask into a browser, you're going to be able to retrieve those insights in real time. And one of the great things that DvSum does that's different from the industry, from an industry perspective, is you're probably used to ChatGPT today in terms of that methodology, right? And so ChatGPT doesn't have a HIPAA compliance, and it's going out to the open web. DvSum keeps the data inside your network as you're pulling those natural questions in, and it's pulling those based upon the policies that are attached to the user in terms of the access to the data that's in place. And so you're able to pull those results in real time in terms of those particular components. So it helps, resolve some of the technical challenges around this, right? So it's real-time data integration. It understands the key facts in terms of corresponding data, in terms of just like you have with ChatGPT, but again, it's staying within your network. So you have the additional understanding and compliance with the security component, since you're basically staying within the network constraints within the system. So today we're going to talk a little bit about open enrollment. So first of all, what is open enrollment within healthcare? And if you're in healthcare, right, this is the season that you're enrolling in your benefits. So if you're working at your employer, you're enrolling in medical and healthcare and vision, typically benefits that may be associated with that. or if you're doing a Medicare Advantage plan, or one of those particular plans, October through end of November is the typical time frame that you're enrolling within those benefits for the next year that you're enrolling as a part of that. And so with that, there's a lot of things that happens behind the scenes, with individuals, and the people that are processing this are heads of operation, the small and group markets and individual markets that are a part of that are processing those open enrollment requests as a part of it. And so one of the challenges that they have is gaining some of the real-time insights outside of the standard reports that might be relevant associated with that. So with that, this DvSum and what we're trying to attain in the industry is how do we attain in the moment, fast real-time insights outside of standard reports that are in place. And so that can be problematic, as there might be some, large data and large data sets, or, broader multiple systems, right? I might have multiple instances of Salesforce or Pega or other systems behind the scenes and have multiple open windows as a part of it. Well, DvSum can basically enhance those capabilities by, again, those real-time chats through your internet browser to pull back those insights that you might be looking to attain. So again, this is about, we say, speak in plain English. Again, you're not necessarily speaking into it. You're actually typing this into your internet browser in a natural, question format for the internet, just like you do ChatGPT. But again, it's staying within the network to pull out those technical portions to understand certain data sets or trends that are actually occurring. So again, how does this really apply to open enrollment? So, there's usually individuals that are called, and it, varies by each type of organization. It's, an EET, which is an electronic enrollment, individual that's a part of that. And basically, the types of questions that they may ask include, what's the specific contact information associated with that member? Specific census tool information that's pulled out. Being able to extract certain setup statuses associated with a new member as they're being onboarded, or specific details about the member, right, in terms of their demographics or individual membership plans that might be in place. And at the end of the day, it might be just automating certain workflow requests that go along with it. And so, since there are potential, a lot of these EET individuals have, in some cases, 8 to 10 open windows. And so instead of having all of those windows open all at once, I can, in a natural language, in an intranet chat, pull back key information that I may need about a specific member, or in some cases about trends that might be happening either on a daily or monthly basis or during the enrollment period itself. Second is a use case around member attribution. So, these would include better understanding which members are attributed to post-enrollment, so after they've actually enrolled in the system, and better understanding how they're aligned toward their value-based care system. Second would be in terms of better understanding the provider payment models that are associated with those corresponding areas, or even associated, how these members are attributed to high-performing provider networks after the fact. And so these are trends that may not be available in terms of standard reports, or you might have key questions. And so DvSum has the capability to not only show information about certain members in certain categories in terms of details, or it can actually show trends in terms of a graphical format based upon incremental questions that you may ask around that as well. A third use case or profile is around national accounts. And so this includes, sales and account information. Again, a lot of cases, again, you have multiple Salesforce instances that are in place. And so again, you can use that in the natural language as a part of it. They may have new customers that are being proliferated in the systems. And so this can be a natural query mechanism. Also, in terms of better understanding individuals across multiple states or across certain populations around those segments. And then also around, ASOs and being able to better understand the benefits impact across those specific employers that are in place. Or last but not least, associated with being able to evaluate certain plans and the impact on enrollment with associated outcomes. And so, these national account groups are large users across during this open enrollment period, where these might be key questions that they're asking across that. There's also brokers that help members in terms of enrolling in their benefits. And as a part of that, there are better understanding those patterns and in some cases churn in terms of different offerings. And so that might be here in the small group market to better understand that channel effectiveness, and also to, in some cases, pulling out broker metrics in terms of what's actually occurring. And really the last use case is just operational metrics, right? There's lots of different things and different metrics that people use, and there are standard reports for those. In other cases, you're trying to figure out what additional metrics might be in place. And you can really do this now in a real iterative, quick basis to better understand general trends that might be occurring. So with that, hopefully that gives you a better understanding in terms of the user profiles for open enrollment and a little bit better understanding of open enrollment itself, if you're not familiar, outside of enrolling in your own particular benefits. But basically, DvSum and the Caddy solution is very similar to ChatGPT, but is majorly differentiated because, again, it's safe, secure, leverages your own policies that in terms of the data that you have access to. Again, your data never leaves your network, and allows you to better understand in real time the key insights and better understanding your data to get better insights and take more actions that may be necessary to better serve your members, your patients, or your customers. So with that, Andrew, I'll turn it over to you to see if there's additional questions that we can answer today.
Great. Thank you. Good job, Steve. Thank you very much. And a friendly reminder to everyone about some upcoming webinars we have also regarding healthcare. So October 26th, payer population health, December 7th, revenue claims management and payment integrity, and February 8th regarding pharmacies. So Steve, I have some questions streaming in here, and how about I'll just toss them right over to you. The first one is, how does DvSum know what and where to access?
Perfect. Thanks for that question today. Basically, it knows based upon, so part of the value that DvSum brings in the industry is it provides that capability to know where to look for certain data. So not only is it better understanding based upon the questions that you're interacting, but it allows you to, it understands the key questions that you're asking and the terminology, and better understands that over the period of time as a part of it. Secondly, again, it's policy-based. So it's based upon the policies in terms of the data that you have access to. So if you have access directly to the data lake, it knows how to pull there. If you have access to certain data segments within your electronic health record or your care management system or in Salesforce components, it's going to know based upon those data components and understand those specific fields and how it should relate to the types of data that you should pull out. So it's mainly based upon your policies and how it learns from an AI perspective and how to provide the best insights that you're looking for.
Okay, great. The next one that's come in is, how do you launch DvSum?
Yep, you basically, so first of all, DvSum, its graphical user interface is very similar to ChatGPT, but it's, again, very different in that it keeps all your data in-house. You typically launch it as a part of your intranet, so that's typically where you will pull it up. But again, it's basically just as if you're using your internet browser today through Foxfire or Safari or other components, but in most cases for large payers, in terms of where we're focused today, and again, it's not limited to payers, it's life sciences, providers, payers, it's really all industry segments, not only within healthcare, but also other segments as well that this is proven for. And so you're basically typically using it in an intranet fashion within your enterprise for the data that you have access to.
Okay, excellent. Now, I'll kind of pause here. I don't see other questions coming in for the moment. But if you do, feel free. Why don't you jot down Steve's email right there, steve.roberts@dvsum.com. You can follow up with him if you have other questions. And we'd love to see you for the next webinars. This concludes the webinar. Any further closing comments that you'd wish to make, Steve?
I just want to thank so much everyone for your time today. Hopefully you found it insightful. And as Andrew said, we're going to be kicking off a series of healthcare related use cases that I think that you'll find applicable. And I hope to see you on a future webinar. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes the webinar. See you next time.